There's a great video by the YouTuber Metatron who is...
Ooh, let's go. Okay, music down. Let's go. Today's topic spicy. I got 6 names. I've got 6 names for you. 1 ring to rule them all. And I don't have it. I do not have the 1 ring. But what I do have is my ring that I make myself. This is in collaboration with Viking Jewelry. So the design is mine. It's called the Ring of the Noble One. And I'm going to put a link right now. This time I came prepared, my friends. If you want to check it out, get your ring. And don't be a muppet. 6 names. 6 names. In fact, 7. But the 7th one is secret. So you gotta keep watching. You gotta keep watching if you want to know the 7th name. I love archaeology, by the way. I'm not a history guy, of course. But archaeology is fascinating not only because it's necessary for us to be able to concretely ensure that what we teach when it comes to history is true. You can read ancient historians and they're great. You can read the sources, which is mostly what I do. I dive into the sources like I'm a maniac. But then again, the material evidence really binds everything together. It's like the mortar that keeps every brick together and builds a wall. What a metaphor. And I love archaeology. Absolutely. So, we've got some names here, my friends. We've got some names. So let me show you some of the names, because today I'm going to tell you my unfiltered opinion on very famous people. And you know me, you can have 50 PhDs, 10 million subs. If I think you're a piece of garbage, I'll say it. And if I think that you're good, I'll say it. Or usually, rather than talking about the person himself, I usually talk about their arguments. I usually attack their arguments. I usually attack their ideas, their opinion. But there are exceptions. Like when the guy the other day called me a Nazi, then it's like gloves off. You know what I mean. But normally, I only attack the person in defense. In defense, that's what I do. I want to start with, as you see on the thumbnail, I divided them in 2 groups. In fact, let me show the thumbnail so we can discuss this. Formulate our own opinions, provide commentary, discuss. But always, even when I disagree, it's not a call to action. It's not a call to attack them, if anything. If I disagree, but I'm still showing their works, it means that I respect their work, right? It's just that I may disagree, and I will still say it. What I don't respect is when people do character assassination attempts. That I don't like. And also, of course, all of this connects to what we've been talking about, which is the pyramids, or what's allegedly under the pyramids. This is when I was awakened to this. So this, which is my thumbnail here, I had no idea, in the sense that I reacted to a few Joe Rogan Experience podcasts, and of course one of these was the one where we had the Clash of Titans, meaning Graham Hancock, who is one of the leading, we could say, figures when it comes to the alternative archaeology camp, which is the camp represented by the YouTubers and individuals and authors on the left. I don't know how connected he is with Jimmy Corsetti, the one in the front. I have no idea. We will check the channel. But I do know that Dedunking strongly supports and is very much in favor of Graham Hancock. And then he faced off this gentleman here. His name is Flint Dibble, the most archaeologist-like name that you could ever invent. I believe his father was an archaeologist, like it runs deep in the family. So anyways, he faced him off, being like the professional archaeologist, and it was a very interesting, so I reacted to it. But as you see, we've got factions. And these guys are at each other's throat. Like, some of them are a little more relaxed, tend to mostly attack the arguments, occasionally do character assassination. Others are full on, I'm gonna slaughter your name, and I don't even care type. So, I've interacted with some of them. So let's discuss a little bit. I don't know what to call it. On one side of the ring, on the eastern quarter, we've got Archaeology team. So regular, traditional archaeology team. We've got Flint Dibble at the top here. He's an actual professor, the way I understand it. Now, of course, you know me. Just because you're a professor or you've got PhDs, it doesn't mean that I'm going to trust what you say. I debunk plenty of professors that push nonsense. But then again, he's still a professional, and I should underline that. He is a professional. And so that's him. Then we've got in the front here, Milo Rossi, who is extremely popular. In fact, I'm just gonna say it, Miniminuteman is his YouTube name. It took me a few days to learn to say that quickly. I had 10 times in a row. Miniminuteman. You see, I messed up. Miniminuteman. I can't say it. You know, his surname is Italian. Why am I even bothering? Rossi. Mr. Rossi, and he's got a very popular channel. We'll check him out today. He also recently released a video on the findings under the alleged findings under the pyramids. I'm just gonna go right out and say it. I really like Milo Rossi, okay? I love his content, I love his work. I think it's an excellent creator. I understand that people that belong to the other faction probably hate him, but the same thing applies in the reverse. And one thing I noticed is that whenever I speak about Graham Hancock, the split second that I say even one thing, like for instance, I have disagreed with quite a few things that Graham Hancock said, but there were a few statements that he made that I was like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Oh gosh, I got hated in the comments because now people just want me to say, oh, he's a fraud, he's disgusting, he's wrong. And I'm like, well, let him speak. It's the first time I ever heard him. I'm not just going to say he's a fraud because you want me to. I need to form my own opinion and use critical thinking, if that makes sense. So I noticed that, yeah, as I say, people are at each other's throat in these two communities, in these two factions. Now, one thing I'm going to do is this. First, I will attack arguments. So, for instance, I just said that I really like Milo Rossi. I think he's awesome. But if he makes a video and I disagree with his statements, I'll say it. But I will be cordial about it. So as long as these gentlemen, whatever faction they are cordial, I will be cordial back, okay? And this actually kind of connects also to this side here because I've had interactions. But anyways, let's continue. I really like Milo Rossi. I'm a little indifferent to Flint Dibble. When it comes to Professor Dave, the gentleman in the middle here is Professor Dave. Now, Professor Dave, for what I can see, seems to be a very competent professor, but man, he's a, what would you got, attack dog. Like, I'm just going to say it. This guy attacks in ways that I don't really like. Up to this point, I watched a few videos and I thought, well, the information was really good, very professional. What I don't like is that I noticed that when he makes his very thorough debunking videos of gentlemen on the other side, he will use some attack tactics that I strongly resent. For instance, accusing people of white supremacy, accusing people of racism. And when I see that, I cringe. So, do I have a problem attacking a racist? Oh, no, but you got to prove it. And do I have a problem attacking an actual white supremacist? No, but you have to prove it. Tactics that have been used against me unjustly, and therefore, as a natural instinct now, I cringe automatically. Moreover, if you crave a little bump of pure toxicity, check out his comment section and see how he, Professor Daves, responds to the people watching the split second. They are either offensive towards him or simply disagree. Professor Dave, I respect your preparation. I despise the way you talk down to people. Last, left side here. So, Jimmy Corsetti, I watched only one video of his, so I still don't have an opinion on his content, alternative archaeology, as they call it. But he was very, very cordial to me and even shared one of my videos on the pyramids. So when it comes to at least at a human level, I have no problems with Jimmy Corsetti. Maybe I'll agree, maybe I'll disagree. I don't know. I'll have to see. But up to this point, these two gentlemen are in the front because I like how they have interacted with me. In fact, Milo Rossi even gave me a shout out in his latest video. I'll show it and I very much appreciate that. Then we have Dedunking. Man, Dedunking, I have to say, I respect the beard. The beard is great. This guy. For context, he made a response video not so long ago. Love the thumbnail. He disagreed with quite a few of my points when it comes to Graham Hancock, but he was very respectful in the way he did it. He even writes here,
just a second, so if you...
As you could read, he says, Metatron is one of the channels I have a lot of respect for, so when I saw him make responses to Graham Hancock, I had to check it in. I absolutely appreciate that. Because of this video, some of his subscribers came to attack me, but the majority, as I can read down here, seem to like my channel, so I have no problems, neither with him nor with his community in any way, shape or form. So thank you for the video, Dedunking. Thank you for being respectful. I might check it out and respond at a later date. So let's go on my Twitter first. Also, you should come and follow me on Twitter, because it's fun. And I tag people. Whenever I make statements and they are strong, I tag them. You can call me obnoxious if you want and arrogant, but I'm no coward. I will tag them right off the bat. So this is my Twitter. I post armor related stuff, and then I post alien related stuff. No, this is like one at a time. This is a great thumbnail though. I made it myself. I'm quite proud of it. Anyways, as we keep going, you know, there was the whole situation with Mr. Chris Leto, that he claimed to have debunked me. I responded, then he made another response, that he was respectful on that one. So I don't have any personal problem with him as of now. We were discussing the debunking video made by Mr. Leto, so I made this post. Note this. I responded publicly to the debunking video made by Leto Files on my breakdown of the conference about the findings underneath the pyramids of Giza. I'm also interested in hearing your opinion, the Project Unity, of this breakdown. So I'm talking about Jay Anderson, who is person number 7, the one I told you I was going to tell you about. Now, why am I asking him to give me his opinion on my debunking video of the debunking video made by Leto Files? There is a reason. I'm not going to disclose the reason just yet, because I want to give him time to respond and give me said opinion, or what he thinks about this. And possibly what he thinks. In fact, I'm going to say it now publicly. If you're watching, Jay Anderson, I'm going to say this publicly. What is your official public opinion on my translation of the conference in Italian made by Corrado Malanga, Filippo Biondi, and Armando May? I'm very interested in hearing your opinion on that. I'll give him a few days. If he doesn't respond, I'll make a dedicated video. And then, as you see, I tagged Jimmy Corsetti, and I said, you might like this. Why did I tag Jimmy Corsetti? I tagged him because Jimmy Corsetti is at war with Miniminuteman. At the moment, they were both very cordial to me, so I don't want to put myself in between that war. You fight away. You can do all the Hadoukens and ensure you can that you want. Great. I can say round 1 fight for you if you want. That's between them, whatever. But he did post my video. Let me see if I can find it, because he posts a lot. Goodness gracious, he posts a lot. Maybe I should learn from Jimmy Corsetti when it comes to the amount of posts. There we go, look. He says, if you're interested in more information on the alleged Giza pyramid discovery, this video by Pure Metatron is a must-see. He watched the entire 4-hour presentation in Italian to get to the bottom of the claims, and it's genuinely wild. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Jimmy Corsetti. Isn't it funny that they both have, Rossi and Corsetti, both have Italian names? You never know. Maybe, hey, maybe there is a conspiracy behind that. I don't know. It's possible, but we'll have to see. And then, of course, I never had direct interaction with Graham Hancock, but that's where we are. Miniminuteman. Massive content creator, Miniminuteman, 2.5 million subscribers. Let's read his own description, which is what I always do, rather than describing people. I like reading how they describe themselves. Archaeology educator, environmental scientist, author, Google debunker, humane 2022, I don't know what that means. You guys know what that means? 2.5 million on YouTube and 2 million on TikTok. Man, that's impressive. To have success to that level, not on one platform, but on 2 platforms, is something that I will always respect, because goodness gracious, it took forever to even hit 1 million. And as a almost 1 million subscriber channel, my views are not as high as I would want them to be. So yes, I reached it, but I wouldn't say that I'm being as effective as I could have been. But when it comes to him, it's clearly a situation where everything works, because 4 days ago, and it's the one about the pyramids, so this one here, he made this one, excellent views. Yeah, his views are great. So, and I'm very happy for him, because I think he deserves it. Excellent work. Let me show you where there is a part where he actually mentions me, and I wanted to share it with you. Look.
Really recommend you look at some of the videos from my colleagues. They're excellent. There's another one that I forgot to mention earlier. There's a great video by the YouTuber Metatron, who is a native Italian speaker who went through this whole press conference and is able to boil out a lot more of the juicy information.
So I noticed he used the word colleagues, and I believe he mentions colleagues again later on when he puts me on one side and Flint Dibble on the other, and then he says my colleagues. I really appreciate that because I'm no archaeologist. I'm no archaeologist. I'm a history enthusiast. People do use the word historian. For me, they call me a YouTube historian. I never really use the word historian to describe myself, but simply because the way I interpret historian is extremely high. So to me, a historian is... well, you need to be like one of the major, really the major people in the world that are really putting... But I noticed that a lot of people these days use historian in a much looser sense than in the loose sense. If you're someone who's really into history and you make money by doing research, if that qualifies you as a historian, then I guess you could call me that. I still don't like using it because it makes me feel condescending. Like, oh, look at me, I'm a historian. So I prefer to call myself history enthusiast. I am a teacher, so I used to teach. I did it for 10 years. But usually my specialty was languages and culture. Now, given culture and history are intertwined, and I did take a lot of history courses in for my university course. I was even allowed to go into the Vatican secret archives because of that. They gave me a special permission because I was putting a lot of work into history, even though I didn't need to. I actually took more exams than I needed for my university degree, simply because I got so interested in it that I just kept doing tests, pretty much. But yeah, anyways, I appreciate that, and I am very interested to see what he thinks about the pyramid. Yeah, he mentioned me because of the translation, exactly. Yeah. Because he must have watched the video that where I provided the translation of that horrible conference. Because I'm going to double down on that. The conference is terrible. And people now have been accusing me that I'm definitely in the cover-up, paid by the government, paid by the reptilians to hide the truth from the masses. Whatever. I'm like, I'd like to know, let me know who's the one paying so I can send them my bank account, bank information, and then maybe we can get paid because, you know, I might as well get paid since people already accuse me. Oh, 1939. Thank you. You're the man. 1939, is it? Let's see.
In Italian. As you can see, I've been fully naturalized as an American, where I can proudly say I only speak one language. And so again, if you want to learn more about this actual study and, you know, fill yourself out on it further, which I highly suggest you do, I really recommend you look at some of the videos from my colleagues. They're excellent. There's another one that I forgot to mention earlier. There's a great video by the YouTuber Metatron, who is a native Italian speaker who went through this whole press conference and is able to boil out a lot more of the juicy information. So I really recommend that you check that out too. There'll also be a link to that in the description. Thank you, Metatron. Fucking great video. Okay, anyway.
Thank you, Milo Rossi. Really appreciate that. You see, I thought I didn't read it. I didn't freaking... so, of course, as I was saying before, the fact that someone this big in the space mentions my video is one of the reasons why I think the video exploded the way it did. So I'm very appreciative of that. But one thing that I really liked that he said, note how he introduces... And for those who are interested, I will be posting my video analysis of his video of the findings under the pyramids tomorrow.